because over the last week, as I've been looking at the Instagram hashtags for Beachbody and this summit, things of that nature, when I've gone down the rabbit hole of your Instagram accounts and your Facebook fan pages, that is not the percentage of what people are putting out there. The majority of it is what I would call a right hook. I wrote a book called Jab, 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 Right Hook. Give, and then ask. Put out content that actually brings value, but don't be scared to ask. You know, the funny thing is, you would think based on the tone that I'm talking right now, that I wrote the book to get people to throw more jabs. Ironically, I wrote the book because I saw a lot of people in 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12 do a good job on social media, but not know how to ask for the business. They were just putting out content. A lot of people email me, they're struggling. I'm like, what's wrong? It's so good. And I'm like, wait a minute, have they not asked for the business? Like, it's very appropriate to have people sign up, buy, as long as you can provide so much value that you basically guilt them into buying. Basically, my entire life is predicated on providing so much value that I guilt you into buying my stuff, but even more importantly, because I'm already good, I just kind of want you to come to my funeral, right? And when you think about that, and when you make that your strategy, you go into a different place. Wine Library TV changed my career. YouTube sells for $2 billion. I freak out and go, Jesus, I've been right about everything where consumers are going. This has to be bigger than just selling a couple more cases of Pinot Noir. And that's when I decided that I would invest in companies. I said, the next time I feel something like e-com or email or Google AdWords or YouTube, I'm gonna invest. I went to South by Southwest 2007. Everybody was talking about this app called Twitter. Everybody thought it was the stupidest thing of all time, because who cares if you're walking the dog or eating pizza? I thought it was the future of email. I invested in Twitter. I made a video about it. Facebook saw it. I spoke at Facebook. I became friends with Zucks. I invested in Facebook. And then I saw a bunch of high school kids playing on Tumblr, and I invested in Tumblr. I'm rich. But why I tell you that story is that's when my career started taking, well, I'm telling you that story because I want to brag, but I'm telling you that story because that's when my career started saying, my God, what I do is day trade attention. Now I'm going to make this talk very valuable to you. I'm going to go through everything that I know you're going through, platform by platform, and I'm going to give you really good advice. I run a company right now called Vaynerchuk. We're a $100 million a year strategy and creative and media agency. We have Under Armour and Toyota and Dove and Budweiser and the biggest brands in the world paying us to sell stuff on the internet. Let's start with a couple things that you need to know. Social media, it doesn't exist. It's a slang term. Social media is the slang term for the current state of the internet. If you are sitting in this crowd and still not devoted to these platforms, you will lose. Because the only thing that people care about in marketing and sales that are smart and successful is attention. And if you don't realize that everybody's attention is now in their phone, you are not paying attention to society. How many people in this room, in this arena, how many people in this arena are always within arm's reach of their cell phone in every 24-hour window? Look around. Keep them up. Keep them up. Look at this. We're becoming robots. We'll get into that later. Over 50% of everybody's time in the world on a phone is spent on a social network. Besides the games you're playing, maybe Pokemon Go's changed that a little bit. Besides the games you're playing and the things that nature, this is where we live. And for you to sit in this audience and disrespect Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, Tumblr, Pinterest, all these platforms is an insane thing. More importantly, it's just beginning. Everything we know, everything we play in, didn't exist 10 years ago. How many people here are retiring within the next 10 years? And I don't mean you're gonna crush it and go live on an island. I mean, you're old and you're finished. Oh man, you still look good though. I'll come fish with you. This dude gets a pass. For the rest of you, you have to understand, we are just starting. This is the biggest communication shift in our society since the printing press. You have 50-year-old men sitting in this audience right now who texted a poop emoji last night. What happens, you have to understand, is that when these platforms are formed, we age down our society. How many people in this room said they would never be on Snapchat and now are? Don't lie, lying is the devil. Look at the hands. Look, I want people to look around. Actually, you know what? Stand up. Let's do this right now. Stand up right now. Stand up. Don't get lazy up here. You're supposed to be athletic. Stand up. Stand up. Right now, if you, not generally, if you said you would never be on Snapchat and you now are, stand up. If you didn't do that, sit back down. I need you to look around this room. I need you to look around this room before everybody sits down, because this is basically my entire keynote in visual form. I am going to buy the New York Jets on one thesis. I'm going to invest time and money in the places that you say that you're not going to be, that I know you're going to be in. You can sit down. Next year, 50% more of this audience will be on that platform. There is so much opportunity going on. And what happens is, did I cry when my email newsletter went from 91% to 30% over a decade? No, I did not. Did I cry that I spent 7 years building my Twitter following to 1.3 million followers by, as many of you know, how many people here have I replied to on social media? Raise your hands. One by one, by one, by one, and engaging. Did I cry that when I had 5,000 followers on Twitter and I tried to sell a book or wine or somebody to do something with me, that I could get more people when I had 50, let's really call it right. When I had 50,000 followers on Twitter, I could get more people to do something than I can today at 1.3 million followers on Twitter. It's why when you roll up on me and go, I have this many followers, I don't give a crap. It doesn't matter how many followers you have, it matters how many followers you have that care. You're not paying the bills with 100,000 Instagram followers that you bought on eBay, jerk. So, I didn't cry that Twitter was losing its grip. That was a big run for me. That's where most of you met me and understood me. That's where I built my brand. It was huge for me. But in 2011, you can go watch the videos because they're out there. I was 30 pounds heavier and pretty angry that Twitter was going away. I could taste it. The attention was slipping. Even though I had 700,000, 1.1 million followers, I was losing it. I could tell. And so I made investments in where I thought the platforms were going. Some worked. Instagram, Snapchat. Some didn't. Vine, social cam. But the one thing I wasn't crippled by was putting in the work. The one thing I wasn't crippled by was putting in the work. And let me tell you the part of the work that I put in that I think a lot of you need to consider. On the flight here this morning, I looked at the last 50 tweets and profiles of people in the audience right now. On their Instagram accounts, they put out content. 15 people comment, 11 people comment, 29 people comment, 67 people comment. And of the 50 people I audited to get fresh data for this talk, not one. Goose egg, 00, Robert Parrish, not one of the 50 people in this audience engaged to one of the people that left a comment. Not one follow-up. 0. Because we've become, in a social media world, pushers. We talk, but we don't listen. And that is where all the action is. If you take one different tact from this talk, and I'm doing this selfishly because I want you to email me in a year because you're going to make more money. And I want you to say, thanks. If you do one tactical thing, we're talking theory, I'm giving you tactical. Do me a favor, instead of going on a 20-week ab program, or you want to get your butt up and squat or whatever, instead of that program, do my program. Reply to every single person that leaves a comment on any social media that you put out for 1 year and watch the money grow. Do that plan. Problem is, that takes work. Problem is, to win, you've got to stop watching entire seasons of House of Cards. That is the value. But the attention is there. Crying about Facebook, let me tell you about 50 people that jumped on Snapchat in January and are making 10 times the money in whatever game they're playing because they're arbitraging Snapchat while Facebook's going through. Crying about Facebook? Be a business and not be an income eater. Instead of buying a nice thing with the money you make from this, why don't you take that money and deploy it against Facebook ads? Because the word wine was 5 cents a click when I started, and now it's $9. And at $3 it was good, and at $7 it wasn't. As we sit in this arena today, right this minute, the #1 way that I would build every one of your businesses is Facebook ads. I love Snapchat, I love Instagram, I love a lot of things. The #1 guaranteed way for every single person in this room to make more money is Facebook ads. The problem is, a lot of people here are headline readers and not practitioners. You have opinions of Facebook ads, but you never really run a campaign at scale. And so that to me is fascinating. And by the way, when I do these kind of talks, especially in a big room like this, we're not gonna be able to answer your follow-up questions. Everybody always asks me, okay Gary, you got me, you were so great energy, you're super handsome, and I'm super pumped, and I really wanna do this, and so what do I do? So I'm gonna tell you what to do off of anything you hear from me in headline, and you wanna go get the details. Like, again, and I'm gonna pound it into your face if you succumb, Facebook ads will make you a lot more money if you deploy the ads and if you learn it, which means, 27 to 30-year-old males that live in, Omaha, Nebraska, that are into fitness. There's a lot of Omaha. Whenever you decide to target, I feel like just randomly saying, Las Vegas, Nevada, Chattanooga, Tennessee. All right. Chattanooga's like, us? I can't believe you said that. Facebook ads, Facebook ads, Facebook ads. Let me tell you the one thing that you need to do off of this talk, because when I get into other things like Musically and other places, you're gonna be like, what the hell is he talking about? There's a site you should go to after you hear things from me if you want to get more deeper information on it. I'll let you get your pens. It's G-O-O-G-L-E. Google. Do you know how many of you piss me off so much when you come up to me and say, Gary, but I don't know how to run Instagram ads. Figure it out, Peter. Like, what's the matter with you guys? Gary, I didn't grow up with this social media stuff. I don't know what to do. Hey, Rick, you didn't grow up driving. You figured it out. And so, what does this all really come down to? It's very, very basic. If you look at every business that has ever succeeded, every single one of them, there are a couple of core principles. First of all, your product. If your product sucks, the greatest marketing in the world will not fix it, right? You guys, in this model, are not in charge of that, so we need to move to the next thing. Let's assume that's in place. Sure seems that way, right? Let's go to the next place. Attention. You have to know where it is, and preferably, you need to know where it's underpriced. Do Instagram advertising 4 years ago, when taking a picture of your butt and your abs, worked? Good, because less people did it. Now everybody does it? It doesn't work as much. When it's every third photo on Instagram, you're not gonna stand out. It's not gonna work. It may work for people that like to look at it, but they're probably not gonna buy your stuff. And so, understanding where attention is and then trading it. To me, right now, the greatest deals in order. Facebook ads. I'm sorry the organic reach went away. Let me just give you a punchline. No advertising is free. Tell me where the alternative, what, are you gonna call your local TV station and they're gonna run your commercial for free? What, you're gonna call the Chattanooga Press and they're gonna put a full page ad for you and your service for free? For the people that did Google AdWords, you guys think you've been hurt by the Facebook algorithm? Go talk to the homies in digital marketing that used to rely only on Google. When Google would change their algorithm and people would lose $1 million overnight and go from the first page result of diet to page 97 and have nothing. So that's not that hardcore. The other thing, Facebook ads. Number 2 best deal in the market. Instagram influencers. You may think of yourself that way, and that's great. You may have a good following, but so do a ton of other people. And you can email them. They all love to put their Gmail in their Instagram profile because they can't wait for you to call them and offer them some money. Sponsored content through influencers is an extremely strong arbitrage. Again, it is my great belief, because I've spoken to so many, and I've watched so many, and I've paid attention, we're not investing in our business. We want our time and our content to drive our business, but when we get the money, we want to go buy stuff. We want to go put it in the corner. We don't put it back into our business. And that is the grave mistake of so many of you in this room today. So whether you deploy that against Facebook ads or Instagram influencers, both are enormous arbitrages that can build your business. Because remember, the content is the variable, but you have your story, right? Other people have their stories. The number one thing you shouldn't do is make up your story, because that's how you lose. So you need other stories. You've got to figure that out. Got it? Next, Snapchat. I'm telling you guys right now. In 2012, 13, there's a video I have online where I yell at the audience and I say, you're all going to be on Snapchat, you just don't realize it. And I believed it, and I believed it, and obviously a lot of people probably remember, in November, December, January of this last year and into this year, the DJ Khaled phenomenon happened, brought a lot more awareness. Over the last 6 months, it has gotten so much older. Whereas everybody thought it was like a sex thing for 15-year-olds, I think everybody now understands it's not. And exactly what happened in Facebook. I used to go and talk in 2006 and 2007 and say, Facebook. And everyone's like, that's college. And I was like, you don't understand. When an entire generation of people take on a platform, as they age up and their lives change, they drag people down. I called it at the time in 2007, the grandma rule. I felt that when the kids of Facebook, the early 20s, would start having children and put their pictures on Facebook, that grandma was going to sign up for Facebook. It's happening faster now. Do you know what the fastest growing category on Instagram of people that take selfies are? 40 to 50-year-old women. Cougar selfies. The way we are eating, the way we work out, the way we dress, everybody in here right now, if you can think of how old you are, if you're lucky enough to have known your parents at the age you are right now, and you can think about them, you are dramatically younger in your behavior and appearance and the way you roll. That's what's happening. Technology is bringing us down, the age downification. And my friends, the stakes are high with what I'm talking about, because what is really exciting is the next 10 years, these Snapchat, Facebooks, how many people familiar with Musical.ly, which means you have an 8 to 14-year-old girl in your life? These things are popping up. There's opportunities. There's a real opportunity. Who's going to be the first 20 people here to figure out what old people do on Musical.ly? I'm trying to figure it out because the attention's there and there's opportunity. But no, you debate dumb things like, is it a fad? Will Snapchat be here in 2 years? Who gives a crap? It's here now. Nobody cares when the #1 show on TV, Empire or American Idol, is #1. They run commercials during it, and if it's canceled 3 years later, who cares? You run it somewhere else. While you sit and debate, is Snapchat gonna be here? Or how long more? Or what to do on it? While you sit and ponder, you're squandering real money. Real money. So here we are halfway through the year. Facebook changed their algorithm. A lot of you relied on that. The world. A lot of people in the world relied on that. And what they've done for the first 6 months of this year is a couple different things. Strategy number 1, complain. Strategy number 2, they have to change it back. We're all gonna leave. Yeah. Instead of figuring out the ad product, instead of investing in what's going on in Snapchat, instead of trying to create video content on Periscope or Facebook Live, either you're on the offense or you're on the defense. And you've got to make that decision as you sit here today, which part of this game are you going to be on? Because what you have to understand is the attention of the end consumer is shifting faster and faster. $90 billion spent on television commercials by my clients at Budweiser, Dove, Toyota, all these platforms, right? Follow me here because this is going to get really important to you. Because a lot of people are like, who cares? That's different. It's very different. They spend a lot of money on television. Watch this. By show of hands, how many of you in this audience now, when you watch TV, outside of live sports, watch it on your time, not when it actually airs through Netflix, HBO Go, DVR, TiVo? Raise your hands. Oh, weird, everybody. And how many of you fast forward every single commercial when given the chance? Oh, weird, everybody. And even if you're lucky enough, from the advertiser standpoint, to get a commercial in front of you for, let's say, I don't know, you dropped the remote control off your bed. Let's say if they're even that lucky, even if they're that lucky, the second a commercial gets on, you grab your cell phone and you check your work, you look at your social, you do not give attention to what you're watching. Attention. Commercials are dead. People watch TV. People don't consume television commercials. Got it? And then, what really makes me angry with you guys, and this is, when I say you guys, I don't mean you, I mean everybody on earth, is you do things as a businesswoman and man that is in your best interest, but then you as a human, when you live, you would never succumb to that. You would never click a banner ad. You don't want a bullcrap social media ad either. But you do it because that's what you want to happen on your end, but as a user, you would never do that. And in that balance is where all the magic is. Why does the TV numbers that we just saw matter? Why does the following thing, guys, do you know that billboard prices are up 15% in the last 5 years? Billboards, outside billboards, right? Meanwhile, every person here, when they're the passenger in a car, is looking at their phone. Nobody's looking at billboards. Just common sense. Billboards are not as a matter of fact, by the way, real quick, when you leave this conference, do me one favor. Look at 5 people driving when you get to the airport and go home. Just look into 5 cars. I promise you the following. Every passenger's looking at their phone, and 3 out of the 5 drivers are looking at their phone. You guys have scared me so much. I've been doing this for marketing. I'm now driving with 2 hands again for the first time because I don't trust you jerks. My friends, people aren't looking at billboards. They're not even looking at the road. And when we have self-driving cars, that game is over. So where's the billions of dollars from billboards going? Where's the almost $1 trillion, $100 billion of television money gonna go? How many people here can't wait to leave this conference, go home, get to their mailbox, and carefully go through their direct mail? You're weird, lady. Tell me where those billions of dollars are gonna go. Let me save you guys all a lot of time. In the next 5 to 7, 10 years, tens of billions of dollars from the biggest companies in the world are gonna go into these digital properties. And the word wine goes from 5 cents a click to 10 bucks. And a Facebook ad that I was running 24 months ago that cost me 50 cents to reach 1,000 people is now costing me 4 bucks. And right now you can compete with yourselves in that world, but when Coca-Cola comes, and when Toyota comes, and when the NFL comes, your numbers are not going to be as good. You're going to be paying $88 a person to sign up instead of $8. So you can either act now and grab away, or you can continue to complain, debate, ponder, and not educate yourself. For you to be a self-serving coach entrepreneur sitting in this room and have not spent the 1 hour to either read or watch a YouTube video of how to actually place a Facebook ad, which I know, you know what, let's do this for each other. I'm gonna ask you to do something right now. You're not gonna wanna do it. How many people here, by show of hands, have never placed a Facebook ad? Raise your hands. It's gonna be higher. And how many of those people haven't even spent 1 hour in learning how to do that? Please tell me the truth for each other. It's unacceptable. Let me phrase it. It's acceptable if you do zero complaining and you're super pumped. If you're happy, I got nothing for you. But I'm just very, very taken aback as somebody who really believes that you have to sacrifice if you want. Guys, think about this for 5 seconds. You have the audacity to be here today with the ambition to live life on your terms. You sit here and you have the audacity. You're going to be the very small 1% of people that can live unbelievably on your terms. Guys, the top 1% income makers in America, the bottom of that number is $400,000 a year. If you make $400,000 a year, you are in the 1% earners in this very competitive country, right? And that's a lot of money, but I think a lot of people think $1 million is before it gets good. It's crazy. We have to reframe entrepreneurship. If you want $100,000 a year, you sit in this room today and you have the audacity. I hope you're running to run Facebook ads. You sit in this room and you have the audacity to want to live on your terms, to not work for anybody else, to support your entire livelihood on you, right? When I hear that, and I know that you play Candy Crush, and I know that you have Netflix on 24/7, and I know that you've been in 48 parks this weekend trying to find Pikachu. And by the way, I believe in work-life balance. There's a lot more to life. Family, leisure, do it, right? But you want to live on your terms. You want to be able to do all these great things and have all this stuff, and you don't know how to run Facebook ads? And you haven't signed up for a Snapchat account? Do you understand as an entrepreneur, you benefit from signing up for those accounts just to learn, even if it's not successful for you? I signed up for Social Cam, spent lots of hours. It died, I got nothing from it. But when Snapchat came along and Instagram video came along, the things I learned by creating content on Social Cam provided me the advantage that I needed to make all the dollars I have. And so, you said something great. I'll talk to you outside. And so, I just genuinely, as I wrap up here, really want to focus on work ethic. You cannot go home from this trip to all the lovely places you live and muster up more talent. You can get better at what you do, right? I'm not gonna go home and shoot so many basketballs that I'm gonna be in the NBA, right? I can become a better pickup player, but nobody here is gonna go home and all of a sudden become dramatically more charismatic, a better storyteller. You can't go home and do that. You can get slightly better, but your DNA is your DNA. But everybody here can go home and work 1 more hour, and work 2 more hours. It's just real. The reason I push it, and by the way, the whole immigrants do well, it's because that's what they do. They just don't do anything else. When you come with nothing and you live in crap, you just work every goddamn minute. And then all of a sudden, 13 years later, something good happens. And I just genuinely want that for people to understand. Look yourself in the mirror in your hotel room tonight and say, are you putting in the work that supports the words that are coming out of your mouth? My buddies always tell me, I'm gonna be a millionaire. I'm like, you're on 6 softball teams, John. Is your work ethic mapping the bullcrap that's coming out of your mouth? Because you talk a good game. You all talk about what you're gonna do, but then the work doesn't support it. And so the work ethic is the #1 variable. Because guess what happens when you actually work 3 or 4 or 5 more hours a day? Because you can still sleep your 6, 7 hours. You can still find an hour or 2 with your family. You can still have a 9 to 5 job and still have plenty of hours to work. Guess what happens? You watch the 1-hour YouTube video on how to place a Facebook ad. You place the Facebook ads. You look at the data. You realize what's working and not working. You find your moment. You find your segment. You find your picture and video. And you start doing business. You know what else happens when you deploy 5 or 6 more hours a day at work? You reply to all the people that say nice things about you on your Instagram account. You put in the work. You know what else happens when you work 5 or 6 more hours a day? You start making social media posts that look like this, which were very successful for me. Post your phone number. I'm gonna call you and give you value. And then you spend 5 hours talking to the people that decided to follow you. And through an 18-minute conversation with them, they decide to do business with you. But when you don't put in the 5 or 6 more hours, you don't. And you start relying on things like, oh, the Facebook algorithm's been good for a couple of years. And then you wake up one morning and Zuck screws you. I have no interest in letting any platform, any move, any business dictate my future or my family's future. And the only way I know how to do that, is to fundamentally outwork every single person in here. The work ethic matters. It's the part you don't want to hear. It's no different than the ad you just showed, right? No, there's no system. No, you're not gonna have some amazing Facebook post that's gonna get all these people into your tree, and then they're gonna do the work, and you're gonna be in Jamaica laying there drinking rum chata. No. You know 0 people on earth that have been really successful that haven't put in the work. 0. If they've done it themselves. If mommy and daddy gave them a crap load of money, cool. But anybody who's ever earned it, put in the work. And we live in a world right now, and let's cut to the chase. It's been so great in our country for so long, we're soft. We complain about dumb stuff. Lots of it. We complain, we're not grateful, we think things are gonna be handed to us. Let me give you a punchline. You're a minority, you're a female entrepreneur, your parents sucked, you grew up in a bad neighborhood, something really bad happened to you as a kid because the neighbor's a weird dude. The market doesn't care. It's not fun. That's not fun, especially the last scenario. People have bad things that happen to them. Here's the sad part. The market doesn't care. The market doesn't care. What's amazing about the American business market is if you're good enough, you win, no matter what you look like. They will buy. It's what we do. It's been proven over and over and over again. The problem also is, if something's against you, you can't speak English when you first come here, the market equally doesn't care. It will reward you, but it will not feel bad for you. And it will not penalize you, which is unbelievable. We are so lucky. And I just fundamentally believe that 99% of you in this room are not taking full advantage of it. Because I'm gonna leave you with something very weird. Do me a favor. Do me one favor from this talk. Go to a retirement home. I want you to go to a retirement home in the next 6 months and volunteer for 1 day. And I want you to have 10 to 15 conversations. I'm gonna tell you what to look for. It's the scariest word I've ever heard. Regret. If you talk to 90-year-olds in a retirement home, they will talk to you about regret. And what they talk about is the things they didn't do instead of the things they did. My friends, we are all going to die, and we got real lucky. I don't know if you've looked at the math, but the rarity of actually becoming a human being is unbelievable. I mean, you know, your mom could have went to go get another glass of wine. Like, the math for that moment to happen. You could have been a tree. You could have been a rhino. You could have been a rock. You're a human. And wait a minute, punchline, you live in America? Lotto.